Salutations and welcome back to Let's Play Tales of Phantasia. This is Edgar. In the previous installment, Edward Morrison was killed, effectively changing this timeline forever. We also fought in a war, and have made our way across the Valhalla plains. I will have Tom place the directions you need to travel on the screen, to save a bit of unnecessary walking. So, we stand before Dhaos' castle, a very isolated and dangerous place. The big bad lurks within its walls, and the place is filled to bursting with all sorts of nasty critters, so prepare yourself for a brawl. From the entrance, head to the left, and then take the door at the top of the screen. 2 chests can be found up here, one containing a flame mantle and the other an aqua mantle. Grab the pair of them to round out your absorb cloak collection. So the vines are the first enemy of the day. Vines have 2 very annoying properties. They are capable of causing paralysis with their melee attacks, forcing you to waste your remedy bottles. In addition, they also have the nasty ability to drain the TP from your characters. Fortunately, they're not too tough. And even better, a spell Archie will collect within the walls of this castle will one-shot them. Consider vines a breather encounter. There is much more dangerous crap in here to fight. Vines also drop orange gummies, so be liberal with them as you progress. We now have 5 absorb cloaks, and thus we can sell one off. As you enter this room, take the stairs to the right and inspect the lone gargoyle statue. The statue hides a lovely secret, a mystical rune. That's another one of our spellcasters half sorted. We're going to stick it on Archie to half the time she needs to cast her spells. You don't need the sorcerer's ring for the castle, but I can't be bothered to unequip it. And now, we meet Adepts and Tony Starks. Tony Starks absorb almost every element, so you're going to be relying on Maxwell to take them out for the most part. Clissa's lightning bolt skill also works, but they don't take a damage bonus from them. Compared to the old golems we've fought, Tony Starks have a few new moves, the most notable being a dashing straight punch, which they can spam, stunning Cliss and forcing you to interrupt your spellcasters. They also have a fuck of a lot of hit points, so you're going to groan whenever they show their faces. As for the adept hiding at the back, he's just like the wizards we fought in Luna's Tower, except he's packing some much more dangerous spells than his little cousin. He also has absurd magical defenses, so you're going to want Cliss up and in his face to take him out. The firewall spell is particularly nasty, as it places damage over time on whoever was struck, but luckily, Mint is almost at the level where she can do something about it. Adepts are also capable of teleporting, but if they're using their teleport, you've already won, so think nothing of it. Head south to return to the entrance of the castle. On the north wall is a mirror. Mirrors will be important later in the castle, but for the time being, we want to head to the north. Do not panic. Dragons cannot petrify you. They're just like the lizard men we fought in the Elven Forest, but they trade the petrify effect off for much higher stats and a rather awkward looking breath attack. They're not particularly scary. As for the Duladhan is one of the strangest looking enemies in the game. It's a humanoid looking insect who functions as an archer. It's quite challenging to get close enough with Cliss to murder them, but luckily, they have no real magical defense to speak of. Head into the northern door. There is nothing in this room but a couple of weapon racks at the north end, and we came in here solely to loot them for their goods. You'll get a mecha halberd from here, but you should already have one equipped on Cliss. Do keep an eye out for question mark weapons. One of the enemies drops a very powerful one. Give me back my TP, you bloody thief. Thank you kindly. After you loot the weapon racks, return to the entrance room. This time, head into the corridor on the east. We're going to have to make a loop around this area, but once you get here, go over to that red plant and inspect it. You can get a couple of herbs from it. There will be more red plants throughout the castle, but only this one has free stuff for you to collect. The door is locked, so head to the east. Once again the vines devour my TP. Cough up an orange gummy, damn you. Just a little bit too slow on the trigger finger there, Archie dear. Step on the switch to the north. It will open the door in front of you, but will close the one off to the left, and you will need to loop around to hit it a second time. Do enter the closed door, for that vine murdering spell I was talking about earlier. Think of Firestorm as an upgraded eruption spell, doing heavy fire damage to the entire screen. In the case of vines, who are vulnerable to fire, it's enough to one-shot them. Be sure to loot the weapon racks out in this area. New enemy, as well as a familiar face. Charons are still the annoying little spellcasting wankers they've always been, absorbing the shit out of everything Archie can do, but luckily, Clark can make them his bitch using the Maxwell spell, because they can't absorb random electric marbles. The druid functions for the enemies much like Mint functions for us, able to heal the enemies and cast protective spells on them. They're always hiding way at the back, so fighting druids is a pain in the bum. Druids manage to be annoying even if you reach them with Kless, as they have a rather long range attack that comes out very quickly, and if they spam it, you're not getting in there with most of your short range techs. Excellent, Mint just learned Dispel. Dispel will only be cast if a party member has a damage over time or a stat alteration, such as from delay or deep mist. It will remove those effects, but for status effects like paralyze, there's a different spell for that crap, so we still need to rely on remedy bottles. This door is shut, and to open it, we need to loop around and hit that switch again. There's an adept behind these Tony Starks. I'll use this battle to demonstrate the dispel ability Mint just learned. Matter of fact, she should use it right now, as that iced block put such an effect on Archie. And there's our fancy green prism. It will affect every character on the screen, and because it's useful for dealing with annoying crap, I suggest you leave it on permanently. Don't worry, Mint is not stupid, and will not cast it if there's nothing to dispel. I swear to God, the way Kliss puts his shield up when the enemies go to hit him. It's amazing, you should see it. Goddamn Tony Starks take forever and a day to kill. Oh no you don't, you teleporting fuck. It's kind of annoying that Maxwell has such trouble hitting enemies in that corner, but that's the price you pay for such an otherwise overpowered ability. And yes, those hats still creep me the fuck out. Head to the south. You will be back in that room with the red plant, so just head east and north to step on the switch a second time, closing the nearby door and opening the previously locked one. Obviously, head over to it. Tony seems to have some size issues. That's okay with me though, it just makes him all the easier to kill with Maxwell, and I'll take what I can get on those massive hit point bricks. This door should be open, so head on through. You'll come to a stairwell. We will have to ascend to the top of the castle to find the boss, because this is an RPG after all. If Maxwell doesn't get them, Gale Shield certainly will. Working just as the designers intended. Okay, we just picked up Air's love for Kless, and it's a self-heal. Unfortunately, Despite being a rather strong heal, on par with Mint's heal spell, it's utterly rubbish, and you'll use it once and then never ever again. I'll show you exactly why it's rubbish in the next encounter. Even the puny mana cost of 6 can't save this spell. When you reach the second floor of the castle, 2 doors will present themselves to you. Enter the one on the right to start with. Do you remember the Konami code puzzle in the depths of the Moria Gallery? Same shit here, read the sign for your directions. To write the directions down, you will need them for later in the castle. Success with this puzzle will unlock the door on the left, so head on through to enter a candle-lit corridor. Head north straight through the door. You will find yourself at a hallway full of mirrors. The gimmick of the castle is about to make itself known to you. Right after I smash this adept for having a creepy hat. Also, here's the heal. Everything about the heal is great, except for how slow it is, and given that Klus is completely vulnerable while doing it, and the fact you would only do it if he needs help, it's just a terrible ability. Seriously, don't use it or you're going to get killed. Time to meet the gimmick. That's not our reflection. That's a boss. And there are quite a few mirrors like that have bosses lurking behind them. We're not able to fight the boss yet, we will need a treasure item before we can do that. And that treasure item is still a ways from our grasp. There are more mirrors with bosses behind them in this room, take note of their locations. Absorb that, you little wanker. You're lucky I couldn't do that shit while I was riding the Pegasus. I have absolutely nothing good to say about Charons, except that they're nice enough to drop mixed gummies, so killing them does net you a good reward. So now you know the locations of all 3 mirrors with bosses. We will return here with the treasure item, but for the moment, let's continue north through the castle. The middle door is progression, the 2 sides are treasure. Oh Gale Shield, how I've missed you, and you're working as intended. Damage per second. Holy mixed gummies Batman. As said earlier, the 2 doors on the sides lead to rooms with chests, this one being a fair bit larger. There's a chest tucked away at the top as well as the 2 visible here. One of these contains a rune rod. It's a weapon for Mint, but you should already have one equipped, so it's just vendor bait. The other 2 chests are apple gummies, take them if you need them. We don't need them, so let's leave them and check the other door. Well, it was bound to happen, wasn't it? One of the asshole vines got to paralyze off. Asses do you make? Even more annoyingly, the enemy died before the remedy bottle took effect, so I have to waste another to shake the paralyze off. Really hate when that bug shows its face. At least it's no longer a factor once Mint learns her status removing spell. Right, let's check the door on the left. A much smaller room this time. You can collect an orange gummy and a life bottle in here, but we are full of life bottles, so we will have to leave it. That leaves only the door in the middle. And Tony Stark continues to have some size issues, making Maxwell's job nice and easy mode. Into the door we go. You will come out at a T-junction. Right is progression, left is treasure, so let's head to the left to start with. 3 chests in here, containing an orange gummy, an apple gummy, and a life bottle. I used an apple gummy on the way here, so we can grab that, but we're still full of life bottles, so we will have to leave it. And of course, orange gummies remain never useful. And so does Gale Shield, especially since I am using it in the exact way the designers intended. Let's head down the right corridor. Head through the door at the end. You will find yourself in what looks to be a dining room with a small army of switches on the ground. The door leading out to the north is locked, and to open it, you will have to solve the puzzle in here. There is a tablet at the top of the room that Archie can read. The trick of this puzzle is that the switches on both sides of the table need to be pressed at the same moments, making this a two-person job. Archie and Klaus will give it a go, and if you fail, there's no penalty, just try again until you get it. Amusingly, if you fuck it up enough times, Klaus will get pissed off, and he and Mint will do it for you on their first try. At any rate, proceed to the next floor. 2 doors here, the south one has treasure, sit at one first. Poor Vine, he had a simple task in life, to steal my TP, and he failed miserably at his job. 2 chests in here, and they contain a protect ring and a rune bottle. You might burn through a lot of rune bottles going through weapons in Dhaos's castle, so I would suggest you wait until the first boss. If you're lucky, you'll have 2 weapon stacks, so if one gives you a long sword, the other is the one with the powerful weapon, because different pieces of unidentified equipment will not stack, thank heavens. Anyway, the leftmost doors have treasure in the next area. From the top room, you can collect a battle rune, and from the bottom room, you can collect a stake. Once you have both of these, just head back and take the door leading to the north. You'll come out in a large area, and straight ahead from the entrance you will find a locked door and a pressure plate. And if your name happens to be Edgar, then Tony Stark will ambush you, and get himself killed on your working as intended ability. Anyway, we need a statue to hold down the pressure plate, but there's a bit of a problem. A quick look around and you will notice there's no statue to hold the pressure plate down, so we are going to have to go and find one. Luckily, we can find such a statue just up these stairs. Ignore the chest, that's for later. Do note that there is a gigantic hole in the floor. We are going to push a statue into the hole, which will conveniently land it right next to the pressure plate. The statue is at the south end of this area, and sure looks a whole lot like that asshole Demitel. Alright, problem solved. Let's head down there and drag the statue onto the pressure plate. Head on through the now open door. You'll come out into a small room with another locked door. There's an even bigger problem in this one, where the statue for the previous one was just tucked away upstairs. There is no statue for this room whatsoever. The party is going to come up with a temporary solution for this shit. Step on the pressure plate 2 times to get some dialogue going. You are forced to leave a party member behind. Leave Mint if you're feeling suicidal, but us normal folk will leave either Archie or Klaus, because Mint's heals are invaluable in the castle. I flipped a coin for this, and the result is that I am leaving Klaus here. We will return for him soon enough, but do bear in mind, you are now down 1 party member, so random encounters just got more difficult. In addition, we have to face a boss before we can reunite with Klaus. The door on the right requires a key we do not yet have, so head to the left. Luckily, Gale Shield doesn't require a full party to be working as intended by the designers. Take the exit to your left. You will be in a small room with a western and southern exit. Take the western exit. We are nearing the top of the castle, but we will have to come back down, not only to recover Klaus, but also because up here we will face a boss, and that boss is guarding the treasure item we need to interact with the mirrors. For the record, the boss guarding the treasure item is exactly the same as the bosses in the mirrors, and there will also be another boss later in the castle, meaning you have to do the same boss encounter 5 times in total. It's not particularly challenging with the full party, but remember, we are down 1 party member. If you can manage to get your hands on that powerful weapon I spoke of earlier, you'll have an easier time against the bosses, but if not, The first boss encounter will be slightly tricky. You see, the boss comes with 2 mobs, and the boss himself happens to be like the Hell Lord all the way back in the Long Valley. The boss is weak to the light element, and the question mark weapon is the Moon for Lux, and the Moon for Lux is a sword that is not only stronger than the Mecha Halberd, it has the light element, so it does a whole fuck ton of damage to the bosses. I am sure I am pronouncing its name incorrectly, but whatever, it's for Lux now. Anyway, you just saw 2 doors. The door on the right will take you to a save point, and there is a locked door at the back of the room. This door is impossible for us to open, because you require the combined power of 4 people here, and since Clarf is downstairs, no doubt having a jerk while he awaits our return, we cannot open it. Save your game here, because the first boss is about to show himself. This door will take you to the entrance of the floor, and the boss is through the door to the north, guarding the treasure item. Let's pause a moment and check to see if I am lucky enough to have a Moon for Lux in my inventory. You know what, screw it. I am just going to call it Moon Sword from now on. Moon for Lux sounds ridiculous. Alright, let's take a look. Show me the money. Stupid Slayer sword. Well fuck, it's just a pile of long swords. Bah, we're going to have to do this fight without a Moon Sword. No matter, it's still perfectly beatable. Goddamn that hell gem attack, it prevented me from getting Gale Shield to work as intended. Well whatever, the magic mirror is now ours, and we can use it to interact with the mirrors that had bosses lurking behind them throughout the castle. We are going to holy bottle our way back to Clarf, because I kind of miss having a full party of 4. Anyway, while we retrace our steps and return to Clarf, some of you might have noticed that Mint picked up the barrier spell from that boss encounter. Barrier will raise the defense stat of whoever you cast it on, but it's buggy, and sometimes it does not function properly, increasing their defense by an entire 1 point, so we're going to largely ignore it. That said, I will be making extensive use of it later in the game, because it can really help out with regards to something specific, but I'll discuss that when the time comes. After all, I'd hate to ruin this let's play with spoilers. Put it back in your pants, Clarf, we have returned. Talk to Clarf and the option of leaving party members will show up, but now that you have the magic mirror, a 4th option of no one will appear, and since we have no reason to head that way again, select no one to recover your party's full strength. And feel free to high-five the statue of Demetel as you proceed past it. Now that we have Clarf and the magic mirror with us, it's a simple matter of backtracking until we arrive at the mirrors that hide the boss encounters. Head down the stairs. Go down. Go down. Head down the stairs. The first mirrors are in this area. Bugger, we almost made it without any encounters at all. That reminds me. Even with Claw at our back, I want to check for a moon sword again. Let's have a little look. Come on, moon sword. God damn it. Oh, thank fuck for that. We've managed to get our hands on a moon sword. Look at that gorgeous thing. Equip it on Cliss right away, but understand that as a light elemental weapon, it will cause his attacks to heal both the Charons and the Druids, so either put it away when not fighting a boss, or work around it. I'll be working around it, because this sword absolutely destroys the Tony Starks, and we don't like those guys at all. As you can see, this sword makes Cliss hit a metric ton harder. Once you kill the boss within the mirror, you can enter the mirror to find a hidden room. Head on in for some treasure. This one hides the distortion spell for Archie. Distortion is her very first death spell, and while it's wildly inaccurate, it looks incredibly surreal when it manages to work, so I'm going to leave it on until she lands a successful hit. As a death spell, it's a one-hit kill, but bosses are sadly immune to its effects. Once again, enter the mirror for some treasure, this time a group of 5 chests with standard items and 10,000 gold. While I collect all this loot, I'll talk to you about the Lionheart skill we just learned on Bliss. Lionheart is a long-range skill, and it's incredibly funny when you use it on an enemy that is immune. Cliss will charge the fuck away, pushing enemies to one end of the screen with it, ending with a lion's bite. But some enemies are too large to be pushed, and if you try it on them, Cliss will have a look of absolute panic on his face as he tries in vain to push them along. Even though it doesn't work on large enemies, it's still a fantastic ability, because it not only forces enemies to the far corner, it also interrupts them from their attacks and spells, leaving Archie and Claw free to romp all over them. Not to mention it sets you up to make Gale's shield work just as the designers intended. Let's use a moment to heal back up with miracle gummies, as well as using a remedy bottle to shake off the stupid paralyze. I hope I run into a Tony Stark soon so you can all laugh at Cliss. 14 TP per cast of Lionheart, but considering the effect it can have on a fight, I'd say it's very much worth the cost. Now, only one mirror remains, so let's go take care of business. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to see a Tony Stark. Check out the power of Lionheart on a large enemy. Looks so absurd and makes you vulnerable, but I just can't resist doing it. Once this Tony Stark is dead, I'll show it on a target that can actually be affected, like those 2 druids hiding over there. Charge those bitches. It loses much of its potency once enemies are in the corner, as half of the appeal is forcing them into that stunned animation as you charge along with them. making them unable to act and giving your spellcasters more time, but you can still do it if it takes your fancy. It still does its damage. It's also unaffected by your weapon in terms of its element, so it works even if you have a weapon that would otherwise be absorbed. And holy crap, Archie managed to land distortion. I don't know where that druid went, but it doesn't matter, it's considered dead, and that's good enough for me. Alright mirror boss, put up your guns. As you saw, boss-type enemies aren't necessarily immune, it just comes down to their size. Anyway, this mirror is different. It will actually take you to a mirror image of the castle, and hidden somewhere in this mirror world is a key we need to collect to reach Dhaos. From these chests you can collect a rune bottle, an army which is an accessory that does nothing, and a magical broom, a weapon for Archie. Equip the magical broom on her the instant you collect it. It will boost her attack to well over 200. As for the army, which I refuse to call armlet, I will stick it on Claf even though it does bugger all. The tooltip claims that it reduces the time one is rendered unconscious, but that's utter bullshit. How do you cut infinity in half, after all? Moving on though, if you inspect the two gargoyle statues in here, you can throw two switches, spawning a chest with a mental ring. Mental rings will be overshadowed in terms of usefulness soon, but it's fine, go ahead and grab it. I kinda wish Archie had that broom while Plus was riding the Pegasus, it would have made the Charons a whole lot easier to dispatch. Take the south exit. This is an exact replica of the first half of Dhaos's castle, it's just backwards. Our destination is that room built at the switches. Do you remember how I told you to write the order down? You just do the same thing again, except you reverse it, so only the left and right will swap order. Here is the room in question. The sign is unhelpful, as it simply tells you to reverse the previous order, so if you forgot it and did not write it down, then god dang it and shit. Anyway, the new order is up, down, left, right, down, and up. Success will spawn a chest outside this room, and in that chest you can collect the gold key. The gold key will open the locked doors throughout the castle, so nothing is really off limits to our party at this point. We are going to use a holy bottle, because it's a fair walk back to our next destination. Do you remember that pressure plate where we left Claf for a little bit of time? We need to trudge our way through the castle until we reach that room again, and since it's quite a ways away, a holy bottle will make the trip much less stressful. Of course, if you're still hunting for a moon sword or just want the experience, by all means don't bother and just fight the enemies as they come. If you've forgotten which way to go, just follow my lead. Head up the stairs. Middle door. Go right. It's a shame that Lionheart pushes enemies to the one spot Maxwell has trouble hitting them. That's what you would call bad synergy, but whatever. Head right through the door. Go up. Head up the stairs. Go up. Go up. High-five the Demetel statue again. This is the last time we will see him. So, now that we've made it back to the pressure plate, we once again have to leave a party member behind. This time, leave Archie behind. Specifically Archie. The reason for this will become clear very shortly. Make your way upstairs and follow the corridor until you emerge into the hallway from before, where I told you to head left, since the door on the right is locked. Now that we have the gold key, we have the means to open that door. The door will lead you to that small platform with the chest, near where we found the Demetel statue. Thing is, from this vantage point, we can see Archie down below us, and she can just hop on her broom and fly up to rejoin our party. Once again, Archie's broom becomes a relevant plot point. Good shit, game designers. Now that we have all 4 party members up here, we can open that sealed door at the save point that requires the combined power of 4 people. The chest itself contains a charm bottle. Grab it and then head off down the corridor to the left. Before we go to the sealed door, there is another locked door we want to open with the gold key for some treasure. Damn you, Maxwell, I wanted to charge the bitch. Take the south exit in this room. That door over on the left is locked. Open it using the gold key to find a group of 4 treasure chests. 3 of these contain dragon steak, which sounds incredibly delicious if you ask me. The blue one contains a silver cape, but seeing as we have enough absorb cloaks for the entire party, it's unnecessary at this point, so it's vendor bait. Working as intended as always. Now, all we need to do is make our way to that save point with the sealed door. We have looted Dhaos's castle for everything it's worth. The sealed door is not far from our current location, but I will show you the way anyway. Go left. That attack is incredibly unfair to the poor vines, but they bloody well started it, trying to siphon my TP and shit. Head up the stairs. Charons can't absorb a crazy blonde motherfucker charging helter-skelter at them. Funny that. You can go left or right, but the quickest way is to go right and then down. We are now outside the room with the save point, and since this Tony Stark rudely interrupted us, I'll begin my explanation now. When we last came to this room, we did not have Claf with us, so opening the door was impossible. Now that Claf is here, just head through the room to the door and inspect it. The 4 characters will do the next bit all by themselves. I strongly advise you to save your game after you fight the boss in the next room. Heal your party and go save your game, because guess what? It's time for us to fight Dhaos himself. Dhaos will be with a pair of evil lords, but this is actually a good thing, because Dhaos will not do a damn thing as long as they are alive, allowing you some free hits on him before the evil lords get themselves killed. When you fight Dhaos himself, be advised that he has incredibly nasty attacks, and heals a lot of the damage you'll inflict. If you read the dialogue, you'll see that Dhaos actually doesn't want to fight you here, but since Klus is so insistent, Dhaos will oblige. And after a long and arduous fight, the party meets its maker at the hands of the mighty Dhaos. This battle seems impossible. He heals just about all the damage thrown at him, and has absolutely devastating attacks he can dish out at a moment's notice. So what gives here? Well, in the original timeline, Dhaos was defeated at the hands of Edward Morrison. There's something Edward did that we did not. Do you remember what it is? It was shown all the way at the start of the game.
神の雷。それ、これで最後だ。インディグレーション。そんなバカな。
The indignation spell, which we were given in Midgard. That's the key. Okay, you tall ass blonde ass prick, round 2. Bring it on. What a world of difference that one spell made during the fight. Unfortunately, Dhaos has buggered off to another time period. No matter, we will track him down eventually. I will wrap this video up here. This has been Edgar, and as always, thank you all for your patronage.